Hello, beautiful. Get your coffee. It's time for Coffee with Matilda, a journey to self. Today, I have a very interesting guest. His name is David Northfield. He's joining me from outside of London, England. And I'm happy to get to talk to him today because he recently got into the health optimization and well-being through natural nutrition and biohacking. So we can get some tips from him. Also, it's interesting to learn about his journey, his transformation journey. Believe it or not, he used to be 265 pounds and he was drinking beer every night. He was eating heavy meals and he was passing out. He lost 110 pounds, wow, through ketogenic lifestyle and intermittent fasting. David today is very healthy, fit, and he's very motivated to help himself and others around him. So he's helping other people for their transformation journey. If you have any question later on, you can. He will give us his contact information, so you can contact him, so he can help you as well. David, welcome.
Hi, Matilda. Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks.
I'm very much interested in intermittent fasting because
Yeah.
about a year ago, I found out about Dr. Jason Fung. He's a Canadian nephrologist, for whoever who don't know, kidney specialist. He's a world-leading expert on intermittent fasting, and his specialty is for treating people with type 2 diabetes. And he written 3 best-selling books. So if anyone is interested, Dr. Jason Fung, you go check him out. So I'm going to talk about a little bit facts about intermittent fasting, and then I have some questions from you, David, and I'm going to go ask it from you. So intermittent fasting is simply a cycling between period of fasting and eating. It's currently a very popular method to lose weight. And it's very funny, in 2019, it was the most trendiest weight loss search on Google. And also it's been on medical journals as well. But it's not a new thing. Intermittent fasting, it's been an ancient secret of health. It is ancient because it has been practiced through all human history. Actually, most religion, if not all, encourage fasting for a period of time in a year. So David, tell us a little bit about your journey, so my audience will learn what happened. You lost 110 pounds. Like, I'm struggling to lose 5 pounds, and you're 110 pounds. What have you done, and how was the journey? And then we go, and I'm going to go asking some questions about fasting and ketogenic lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, I started off obviously overweight, uh, and for years I wanted to sort myself out, and I'd been, going on these diets or just cutting down on drinking or for a bit, and then just finding myself, putting the weight back on. So I wasn't really getting anywhere with that. It wasn't really working, and it was just the standard diet advice. So I was searching online on YouTube for answers, and I came across Dr. Berg, who basically promotes doing the keto diet and intermittent fasting. So I decided that about a year ago, when I started looking at this, and it was just like, wow, it's amazing. You can do this and not feel hungry, and actually lose weight, and it seemed to be quite easy, because a lot of people were commenting on Dr. Berg's show, that they were phoning in and saying, oh, I've lost, to 180 pounds or whatever, and my type 2 diabetes is gone, and my blood pressure has gone down, and so that's where it all started for me. So I just started to follow the keto diet, and gradually get into the fasting, and that's when the weight loss started.
Oh,
Yeah,
very nice. That's
yeah,
amazing. So
yeah.
how do you feel now that you don't have that 110 pounds?
Oh my my goodness, it's such a difference. It's amazing. I've got so much more energy, just to do things, and also my cognitive function has improved. So I can remember things, like when I'm at work, I can remember things better.
Wow.
Um, and I just feel so much better. I work in IT, uh, fixing computers, and often you have to dive under a desk or something to plug in some cables or whatever. And before, it was quite difficult, with a big belly and everything, to crouch to sort of crouch down, and I found it very difficult. And since I've lost the weight, it's just amazing. I can just crouch down, and I just feel so much better. It's almost like being 10 years younger. It's like being young again.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like, wow, I'm just, wow, it's just such an amazing feeling. Yeah, yeah,
Very
definitely.
nice. And you're not putting it on.
No, no, I basically, I'm still following the intermittent fasting and the keto diet. And no, I'm not putting on weight again. Um, I mean, there's just so many health benefits to fasting as well. So that's why I want to keep it up.
Mhm.
And also, from point of view of your liver as well. I've heard that your liver is amazing because it can recover and repair
Mhm.
itself. But after all these years of drinking and abuse, it's going to take at least 3 years to recover. So I'm really trying to stay off the drinking now, completely. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
Mm,
So, maybe we can tell our audience about what is exactly intermittent fasting. A lot of people,
mm,
David, when I talk to them, they say, "Oh, that's
yeah,
not for me because it's starvation. I'm against starvation." So maybe we can tell our audience that what
yeah.
is it exactly and why it's not starvation.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you can just think about it like, I can describe it in a different way. It's time restricted eating. So you just eat at certain times rather than eating, like, 8 meals a day or something, like a lot of people do. Because every time you eat, you spike your insulin. Um, and that's basically what leads to type 2 diabetes, because you become insulin resistant. So normally when I talk to people and they want to get into this, I say to them, well, what you want to do to start off with is just cut down to 3 meals a day. That and that's why when you have breakfast, it's called breakfast. You're breaking your fast. So if you have your last meal at 6 in the evening or whatever, then you're having breakfast at 8 in the morning. You're having a fasting period there already. um, it's not necessary as long as what I normally do, but at least it's a start. And making sure you don't have snacks in between, late
Mhm.
night snacking and stuff like that. So that's where people can start with the fasting. um, and then you can work your way up to it, because a lot of people think, oh, what are you talking about, having 1 meal a day or something? That's a bit extreme. But that's what I do. um, but you can't just suddenly do that, because you're not going to be used to it. So you can work yourself up, just by having 3 meals a day, and cutting out all the like processed carbs and sugar. And that's where the keto comes in, because when you reduce your sugar intake, um, then you start to use fat for energy rather than using carbohydrates for energy. And that's where the fasting helped as well. And also, I mean, the benefits of fasting, if you go for a longer period of fasting, you get into this state called autophagy, where the body starts recycling old cells, and it's sort of like a regenerative process, and it gives your body time to recover. If you're eating all the time, your digestion is just keep going all the time, and it never has a chance to have a rest, and for your body to maybe build up your immune system, or go into autophagy. So typically you're going to start going into autophagy when you fast for about 16 hours. So that will just be like skipping breakfast, say,
It's very actually,
yeah,
for a lot of people they think of fasting is difficult.
yeah,
I do 20 hours. I mean, not every
mm,
day, but I used to do 20 and it was not very difficult, which
no,
I realized, okay, sometimes before you sleep, you go and have like stupid snacks. I don't
mm,
know. You eat a nut here, I don't know, and a fruit here and there. If you cut all of that after dinner, that's it. Don't eat anything. You're already, it's easy to have 12 hours. And then maybe after 12 hours, you can work it out to 16 and
mm.
then 18, 20, and hopefully 24-hour one. Do you do the
Yeah,
24 hours? Yes?
yeah, definitely. Normally, nowadays, I was experimenting with the 16/8. So that's, you have a lunch and a dinner, but what you can do is just bring those meals together. So you sort of squash your eating window together until you're just having one meal. So, you can do that 24-hour fast. Yeah, definitely.
What is the longest fast you've done?
Oh, the longest fast I've done is 72-hour fast. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think that's where the magic starts. I've heard
Mm,
after 42 hours, your
yeah.
body starts with a different mechanism, no?
Yeah, well, as I understand it, when you get to about 16 hours, that's when you start getting into autophagy. So of course, if you continue on with that, then that autophagy is just going to continue going, and you'll just be burning fat, and using fat for energy. And that's basically ketosis. That's
Hmm.
what that is. And what happens is your fat gets turned into ketones, and that's a different energy source, and your brain and heart love that energy. So that's why you find that you get more focused, and you just feel a lot better and more alive. So yeah, it's quite amazing
Well,
to do.
I've read one article about
Mm,
this IT CEOs in Silicon Valley that
mm.
they like to fast for 2 days because for them preparing meal it takes time, and when they have deadlines they prefer to fast because they are more clear, their head is more clear and they can think better, and they save time by not preparing food or eating. So that's like they say 45 minutes a day you save by fasting only. I mean, it was an interesting article to read that,
Mm.
a CEO of company like the IT executives find fasting a tool for them to optimize their working schedule.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why I love fasting as well. It doesn't cost it doesn't cost anything. In fact, it probably saves you a bit of money,
Yeah.
and it saves you a bit of time, and you can just keep on going. That's the thing. If you're eating all the time, you get this sort of, especially if you're having carbohydrates, a lot of carbs. You'll get the sort of up and down of the carb energy. Um,
Mhm.
but if you're just in ketosis and just fasting, then it's a lot, the keto energy is a lot smoother, and it's just a much cleaner form of energy for your body to run on. So yeah, it's great for that. Yeah, definitely.
And you said keto diet. I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with keto. I have some friends that they're doing keto, so they
Oh,
are interested in this conversation.
yeah.
I never done it, and for me, it's a little bit difficult to understand or to
Mm.
commit to do it. Maybe after our conversation today, I'm going to be interested. So tell me
Yeah.
about what is exactly keto diet? Because everyone's talking about it. Lots of celebrities are on this keto diet.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different diet advice about on keto, and there's lots of keto uh, foods that you can buy pre-prepared. But really, you want to just break it down. What it is it's a low carb diet, basically. Low
Mhm,
carb, high fat, and moderate protein. And I try and do the healthy keto diet, as Dr. Berg calls it, um, which is basically making sure you get lots of vegetables and salad in as well, so you get all the nutrients from that. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. It's just cutting out all the processed carbs and sugars out of your diet, and just eating a high fats, moderate protein diet. So, that would, high fat sort of things like eating avocado, maybe eating nuts, maybe having, a beef burger, obviously without the bun, maybe having that with some cheese. You can get healthy fats from fish like salmon and stuff like that. Um, and also, there's other things that support it. Like I've got here this MCT oil, which is yeah, you've probably heard of it, but basically it's extracted from coconut oil,
mhm.
um, and it's just the pure fat molecule from the coconut oil. So that can give you just a little boost, boost of energy as well.
So sorry,
Um,
where do you put this? I mean, you
what
in your
this?
food? Yeah.
Oh, what this? Oh, you can have it in your food, or you can like have it in your coffee. You
Yeah,
just got to drop.
I've seen
Yeah.
people put like butter in their coffee, and I'm like, I cannot have this. Or they put some crazy things in their food because they're on the diet. So that's why
Yeah.
I never been interested, because for me, it's not coffee should be coffee, not other things.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, I know, yeah, a lot of people do put butter in their
Yes.
coffee when they're doing the keto diet. But the only thing about that is you'll probably find that I mean, you'll probably break your fast, if you're gonna put butter in there, because that's got calories in it. I mean, arguably, MCT oil will break your fast, but it's if you just have a small amount. I mean, it's because it's the pure fat. It doesn't it doesn't even need to be digested by your digestion. It gets straightly processed by the liver, and then your liver will send it to your brain, and your heart for energy. So you can use it that way. And I mean, I will have coffee in the morning, and if I'm fasting, I will just put spices in there, maybe. Just
Oh,
I know it's not it's standard, but that's what I do. And then sometimes if I feel like it, I'll just put a bit of the MCT oil in there.
mhm.
So
Okay.
it's actually quite nice, because it just gives it a little sort of gentle coconut taste, you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Idea is kind of weird, but I guess it's
It is
nice.
very weird. It is. When I gave it to my brother, he was like, "Oh, what's this? It's an oily coffee. What have you done?"
Exactly. I don't know.
But I
I
mean,
don't know.
you don't have to have that on your in your coffee if you don't want to. It's not a required thing to have. It's just something
Mhm.
that people do. I mean, obviously, you could have that in your salad, or you don't, you could just use coconut oil in your cooking, for example. So if you're cooking a meal, and in fact recently I've been using, when I cook my eggs, so I make an omelette and I actually put ghee and avocado oil in there, which I've heard that actually helps with the omega-3 profile in the eggs, it's basically more usable for your body if you do that. So yeah, those sort of fats, avocado oil, and things like that you can use in your cooking. Yeah, definitely. And of course, if you're having salads and stuff like that, you can put olive oil in there, and like I said,
Now
avocado.
you're talking to me. I love
Yeah,
olive oil with vinegar
yeah,
in my salad. The rest was
yeah,
like, no. I
yeah.
can do olive oil.
Well, I mean, I when I was doing the keto and intermittent fasting, well, I still do. I often have, like, I'll have a salad pretty much every day. So in that salad, I'll have lettuce, tomato, um, Greek feta, obviously the olive oil, um, and what else? Yeah, all of that sort of stuff. So that's, and I mean, are you vegetarian, or do you eat meat?
I'm 80% vegetarian. I just don't
80%.
like I don't like to be put myself in a limit. If I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
having a burger, I have a burger.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I've been trying to cut down on meat consumption as well. So sometimes I will actually just put some organic tofu in my salad instead of having meats or anything like that. And in fact, I mean, well, I guess if you go vegan as well, but if you're talking vegetarian, then you can have cheese in there. So obviously Greek feta, and sometimes I just put a bit of have a bit of cottage cheese in there, maybe a bit of soft cheese as well, you know.
So you're telling me, as if I'm a vegetarian, for example,
Hmm.
for me it would be very difficult to be on a keto diet in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're limited to the sources of fats that you get.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, like I was saying before, there's a lot of vegetarian fats that you can use, like fats from nuts, uh, coconut oil, um, you know, avocado oil, and having avocados. So there are things that you can have. Um, uh, and
Because I have a lot of vegetarian friends in
mm,
California. It's a California thing, to
yeah,
be vegetarian. So I have a lot of them there, and I'm sure if they're interested in keto
yeah,
diet, for them they
mm,
have to do some research to make sure that they have all the nutrition needed for their body to come,
yeah,
because
yeah,
now they're
exactly.
restricted in certain ways. So there is different ways of fasting. There are different fastings. Maybe you
Yeah.
can elaborate to our audience so they know what are the different types of fasting, and maybe when they're choosing which one to do, they can choose the best that they think it's gonna fit their lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, well, the different types of fasting, it's just, I guess, for most of the time, you want to, like, choose either whether you want to do the 16/8, which is uh
I
16
think that's
hours of
the easiest, no?
that's
16.
probably that's probably the easiest one to go for, and that's what I would say probably most people would do. um you know so you have 16 hours of fasting and an 8-hour eating window. um but I mean, that's the thing about fasting, is you don't have to stick to that exactly. You can adjust your fasting window. Maybe you want to uh eat for 8 hours, or reduce that down to a 4-hour eating window, depending on how you feel. And what I would say is just listen to your body
Mhm.
when you're doing the fasting, And if don't eat, if you don't feel hungry, don't have a meal, you know. So if you're not feeling hungry that evening or in that morning, then just skip the meal and don't have anything, and then just eat the next day. So yeah, that I mean that's the sort of thing, and you know, if you are hungry, then yeah, eat and have some food, you know.
But David, when I was
Mm,
trying to do intermittent fasting and I was
yeah.
researching a lot about it, they were
Mm,
saying, well, when you feel hungry, don't worry. It's not like you're dying. Because I'm always kind of hungry and I'm like, oh, how can I not eat all this time? And they were saying it comes with waves. So just maybe it's a memory. So if you
yeah.
don't eat it at that moment, in 20 minutes, you even will forget that you were hungry. So you can suppress it somehow. So
Yeah, I mean that is true. That is true because what actually happens if you're used to eating at a certain
power.
time,
Hmm.
then your digestion's getting ready to go. It's like, oh, you know, it's expecting some food, and that's when you start feeling hungry. And I often find that doing a little bit of exercise will just get you through that. Just getting active and doing something active, and then your hunger just sort of goes away.
Hmm.
I mean, other things, you know, while I'm fasting, I normally like I make this little health drink that I have
Uh-huh.
to keep me going. Obviously, you can have coffee, but I make this drink that I have in the morning, and also I have to sip on all day actually, um, while I'm fasting. And I put lemon juice. So I freshly squeeze some lemon juice. I put in there some apple cider vinegar, which is really good for your, you know, acidifying your stomach. It's good for your digestion. And of course, the lemon juice has got vitamin C in there. And um, and then I put some electrolytes in there as well. So maybe some
That helps.
Himalayan sea salt, and I have some. I've got some magnesium citrate and
Mm.
potassium citrate powder that I put in there. So magnesium, potassium as well, because typically what you find is when you're fasting, um, you'll lose fluids from your body, you know, especially if you're drinking a lot of water. It will also flush out your electrolytes from your system, and you can feel sort of a bit down from that. So it's definitely a good idea to have a good electrolyte. And also what
Um,
I
yeah.
would say
You
is just
mentioned, mm,
stay away from the sugars, because you have to be careful. Some of these electrolyte powders that you get have got sugars in them, you know.
oh
So
wow.
that's not going to help with your fasting. So you got to make sure you get. That's why I just get the supplements on their own. I mean, you can get. I also you can get like uh, a sports electrolyte sort of liquid that you can just drop into your drink as well. But yeah, when you're getting those products, just make sure that they don't have any sugars and stuff like that in there, because that's definitely going to break your fast, you know, and that will cause you to feel hungry as well.
Um,
So yeah,
I remember when I was fasting, one of the
mm,
problems that I was feeling was headaches. I was
yeah,
constantly having headaches, and then when I did the research properly, they were
yeah,
saying, oh, because I drink a lot of water, and
yeah,
I didn't have enough maybe salt in my body, so I would just put some
yeah,
salt in my mouth sometimes, like very
mm.
little, but that would have helped. That helped with my headache. And I think some people, it might help some people as well. Just put some salt in your mouth, because I didn't have all these magnesium and stuff.
No,
All
no.
this,
Well, exactly. That's the thing. Especially Himalayan rock salt is
yeah.
great because it's got loads of minerals in there as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, sometimes I do that. I just have a little
Yeah.
have a
And it's
little bit of salt,
amazing.
and it's
It's
not going to break
amazing.
your fast or
Um,
anything. Yeah,
it's amazing that, your headache goes away right away. So for me, that
yeah,
was magic.
yeah,
Magic.
definitely. Well, I mean, that's why I have the drink. You see, you just put the salt in your drink, and then you can you can just sip on that, so you're not losing all your electrolytes. So when you're having that in your drink, it's an easy way to have it rather than just
And you know what, David? I'm happy that we are having this conversation now,
yeah.
because most of us are
Mm,
in quarantine, and if some people are looking into intermittent fasting or keto diet, and they always
yeah.
thought, oh, they're busy and they don't have the time to start a new lifestyle. Maybe
Mm,
now that you're they're home, it can be a good opportunity for them to try it, to see if it suits them, if their body likes the idea of being on a keto or fasting mode. So I'm happy that we're having this conversation. So they're home and they can try it if they're interested.
yeah, I mean, definitely it's a great time to try it out, especially if you're wanting to do a fast, you can just actually just maybe just take it easy that day. You don't have to do anything too stressful or anything. Maybe do a bit of meditation and stuff just to
Mhm.
relax and chill out, and
Exactly.
get into the fasting. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you one question that a lot of people are asking, women are asking actually. Is
Mm.
fasting good for women?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And who shouldn't fast? I mean, but one thing, if the woman is on their period, do you think
Yeah.
fasting is good, or they shouldn't fast at that time?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that is that's a difficult question, isn't it? I think it does depend on it does depend on the time of month, because some especially if they're trying to do the keto as well. Sometimes you do, as a woman, you do, near your period time, you might need a little bit more carbohydrates and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And you might feel that you do need to eat a bit more uh, around those period of time, because obviously
Exactly.
it is putting a stress on your body. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely,
So
definitely
I
it does.
think maybe we should tell our audience that they should
Mm,
really listen to their body. They are their
mm,
masters. They know exactly what they're feeling. So they shouldn't listen to anyone. They should listen to their own body. That's the body talks to them, if obviously they know how to listen to their body. That's another concept. But
yeah.
your body always tells you what he needs or she needs.
Yeah, exactly. That would be one of the main things that you want to look at when you're doing this, is just, especially if you're changing your diet, and you might want to change a few things, just change things gradually and see how they make you feel, because sometimes you might start to introduce new foods into your diet, and it doesn't actually maybe agree with you, because
Mhm.
everybody's different. Everybody's responds to foods differently. So definitely it is that is one thing you've definitely got to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you eat too many nuts, for example, some people don't agree with eating a lot of nuts, and stuff like that. It doesn't make them feel too good. So yeah, definitely that is something to look out for. Yeah.
For me, intermittent fasting is very good. It's very good for my soul and for my
Mm,
emotions and for my
mm,
body. I've done like I've tried to listen to other um,
mm,
health improvement
mm,
coaches that were saying, "Oh, you should eat every 2 hours or 3 hours or something," but it doesn't work with my body.
no,
My body doesn't get that peace. But with
no,
intermittent fasting, my body is relaxed, and I love that. I love that feeling. My stomach is very calm. So everyone, I mean, there are different ways of to be healthy, and I think
mm,
everyone should listen to their own body to see what's work best for them.
yeah.
So, David, um, another question that they've been asking me, so I can ask you, is
Mm.
can they exercise during fasting?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's what I would normally do is you can do a light exercise, obviously, like going for a walk, maybe for a jog or something like that during your fast. But if you're doing like some heavy workout session or anything like that, what you want to do is it is actually beneficial to do that in a fasted state. But what you want to do is have your meal straight after
Really?
your heavy training session. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. So if you were doing some weight training or some heavy training like that, then you would want to have a meal straight afterwards, or maybe just have a, a, a light shake just before. But yeah, you can do it. But like I say, just feel how you feel, because I found that if I'm training in the fastest state, you feel like you've got more energy and you can just keep on going. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Just make sure you have a good meal straight afterwards.
Very nice. And also, some men have this question, not a lot of
Mm.
women, but some men ask me this question about, they say, if I'm gonna fast, I'm gonna lose my muscles. Is that true?
No, I mean I've actually been building up muscles on fasting as well. Um, you're not just gonna suddenly waste away. No, no, it's not the case.
Very nice. And then some are asking, how do you manage hunger? When you're hungry, what do you do?
Oh, if I'm hungry, I normally, like I was saying, normally I either do some exercise, or just get up and be active, or I will have something to drink. So I'll either have some water, or I'll have my drink that I make, and then in the morning I might have some coffee.
Yeah,
So
it's good to mention that coffee and tea is permitted. Obviously, don't put anything in your coffee or tea, but just you
no,
can drink as much as you want, no?
yeah, definitely. Coffee and tea is good. I mean, the only thing I would say about coffee is you wouldn't want to have too much coffee
Yeah.
too late in the evening, because otherwise you're going to be it might affect your sleep, because sleep is just so important. So I mean, some people like to have sweet tea or coffee, um, but there are plenty of sweeteners out there. I mean, I use stevia, which is a good one to use, and there's also xylitol as well, which is another good one. Yeah.
Very nice. What else I can ask? Do you have any tips for people who just want to start intermittent fasting?
Just want to, yes. Well, like I said before, it's that would be the way to go, is to cut down to 3 meals a day, uh, and cut out all the snacking of sugars, and stuff like that. Just start off by doing that. And I mean, the thing is, when you're doing the fasting, when you eat, if you're having a lot of sugar, or if you're having a lot of carbohydrates, that's gonna make you feel hungry, like later on. So you want to cut those out, because otherwise, a few hours later after your meal, you're going to feel hungry again, or the next day. If you have a lot of, say for example, if you have loads of chips in the evening, or loads of potatoes or whatever, the next day you're gonna really feel quite hungry in the morning. So just cutting down on those carbohydrates and sugars is definitely a good plan to help with your fasting.
And
Yeah.
also, I think if we tell them that at the beginning, couple of days, you're going to be a little bit moody because it really affects your mood. But then you're
Yeah.
going to feel better. But that couple of maybe 2, 3 days, then when you start
Yeah.
intermediate fasting, you might feel
Mm.
irritated. But it's okay. It's very normal, no?
Yeah, I mean to get into if we're talking about ketosis, it can take a couple of days to get into ketosis, but like to help with your mood, you can definitely having potassium will help you relax. That's why it's good to have uh, lots of um, lots of leafy greens and stuff like that. You know, some people like to have kale shakes and things like that because you've got all the nutrients in the vegetables and the salads and stuff like that, and that can help boost your mood. So yeah, definitely.
Very nice. So do you have any tips to anything that you want to add to fasting? Um, Before you go, I wanna make sure that, I mean, I would love to do fasting for 2 days
Mm,
or 3 days, but the
yeah,
max I do is 20 hours or 22 hours actually. But I want to do 2 or 3 days. I have not done it and I'm a little bit scared. Do you have any
yeah.
tips for people that want to, they're a little bit advanced or,
More advanced, yeah. I mean, once you've got used to like fasting and maybe just having one meal a day, then you're probably going to be ready to go on a longer fast. Um, uh, and yeah, a long fast, yeah. I'm just trying to think because I was just going to mention something else just quickly
uh-huh.
because another really good thing to have is this nutritional yeast. But when we were talking about the mood, but like your mood and stuff, if you have nutritional yeast, it's got lots of B vitamins in there,
Mm-hmm.
and that can boost your mood. Uh, and also what I yeah, but that's not that is fasting though, because what I also have while I'm fasting is this here, which is wheatgrass juice powder. I
Oh
don't know if you
no.
can see that. Yes, and that won't break your fast, and that's got loads of uh, minerals, vitamins, and electrolytes in it as well, and it's got B vitamins in there as well. So this is really something quite useful that I use. Like I say, that's the main thing that I do when I'm doing the fasting is I still have my like sort of health drink,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is having the you know the lemon juice, the apple cider vinegar, and the wheatgrass juice powder, and and all the electrolytes. That's like really important when you're fasting. I think those are the main things that you want to make sure that you have, and of course have a coffee in the morning as well. So
That's a
that will
must.
keep you going. I think that will keep you going. I think that will keep you going if you know have make sure you get the electrolytes. Maybe have try out some wheatgrass juice powder, um, uh, and you know if you don't have all of that stuff, just have some Himalayan sea salt. That can really help.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
That's the
definitely.
key. That's really, it really makes the
Yeah,
difference. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of headaches. So,
exactly. Yes. Yeah.
so David, you're really encouraging people to do it. I think it's an exciting. I mean, I
Yeah.
encourage to do it, and I think this is a great time for
Mm,
people that just want to start it, just to try it. You're
yeah.
home, and you're gonna save money as well by not eating. So,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, with the longer fast, you don't want to do that all the time.
Mhm.
Um, like maybe you wanna try that the longer, like 72 hour um fast or whatever, like maybe once a month or something like that, just to like flush out your system and everything like that. So I wouldn't recommend to do it like all the time, but definitely it's worth trying. Yeah, yeah.
And I know for the longer fast, like 1 week or I think 10 days of fasting, there are
Mm,
people who are doing it that they just come out of chemotherapy and
yeah.
they go on dry fasting. I've
Mm.
heard this. Have you ever done dry fasting?
I've never tried. I've heard about dry fasting and the benefits of dry fasting, but no, I've never tried it.
Mm-hmm.
I just like drinking,
Water.
too much. Well, obviously drinking water, not.
Not beer.
I just love drinking water, and I love to have coffee in the morning. So I just I'm not sure I would do it, but maybe yeah, it might be worth trying at some point. That's like the next level, isn't it? A dry fast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, you've gone to this biohacking seminar now?
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was a health hacking seminar. They had it all online. Um, yeah, it was great. They had
Give us
loads
some
of.
tips here.
Sorry.
Give us some tips here, please.
Well, a lot of the tips that they were giving was to boost your immune system,
Mm-hmm.
and do things. And a lot of the tips was doing meditation, and not trying to avoid stress, because stress will can affect your immune system, negatively. So what you want to do is make sure you cut down on stress. Stop watching the news all the time. Obviously, you have to catch up on it, but if you're glued to it all day, it's just going to stress you out, and it's not going to help your immune system. And doing things to boost your immune system, like getting enough vitamin D. Um,
Uh-huh.
Either you can get out in the sun for a bit, obviously not for too long, so you don't want to get burnt, but just get a bit of sun every day. Get out in the sun, and maybe if it isn't sunny where you are, just take some vitamin D. I often take vitamin D, like cod liver oil, because that will help boost your immune system, and also boost your mood as well. And also things like having zinc and vitamin C in your diet as well is really good. And another really important thing they were talking about was getting a good night's sleep. So making sure that you before you go to bed, make sure you turn the lights down. You don't look at your blue lights, your phone, and everything like that. Make sure you eat. You have your last meal 4 hours before bed, so that
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to bed with a heavy stomach. Just these sort of things, just to optimize your sleep. Um, so I haven't got them here, but I've got some. I've got some blue light blocking glasses. You put those on just before bed, and what that does is, if you want to look at your TV or your screens, or you've got bright lights, then you put those on, and that can actually, what that does is it cuts out the blue light, and it helps you start produce melatonin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that basically, the melatonin is a sleep hormone, and that will help you get a better night's sleep as well. So yeah, sleep's really important. um, Doing exercise uh, is really good, and that helps reduces stress. And also, another thing they were talking about is introducing other stresses into your body that can actually help, which is things like taking a cold shower in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or because or doing hot and cold, so hot and cold exposure. I mean, these people, they're from Finland, so they've got the sauna over there, so they like that. I actually miss the sauna, because I used to go to my local sauna,
Mm-hmm.
and now I can't go anymore. So getting the heat exposure is really good. So if you can go to a sauna, that's really great. And then doing the cold exposure as well. But now that I haven't got the sauna, I'm just trying different things. So I just have have a hot cold shower. So I'll start with a hot shower,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for a while, whatever, just normal shower, and then do hot cold. So like 1 minute cold, and then next minute hot.
So you
Uh,
shock your body,
y-
basically.
sorry.
You're shocking your body. You're giving them
Yeah, that's right.
stress.
That's right. It's just it's obviously you don't want to do it like all day or something like that,
Yeah.
but just that it basically produces this heat shock proteins, and it's actually good. It's actually good for you, yeah. And it can also, that sort of thing can also help tighten up loose skin and things like that as
Oh,
well.
nice. Good tips there. Very good, David. Our time is kind of up. Do you have
Okay.
anything? If I'm gonna remember you,
Yeah.
we're gonna remember our conversation tonight. What's
Hmm.
one tip that you want to share?
What's one tip?
Yeah. Basically, we are actually right now we don't have control over the world. We have
No,
only control over our emotions
ourselves. Yeah.
and ourselves. So it's crucial that we take care of our immune system. So these
Hmm.
tips that you gave us for our immune, it's very, very important. I hope my listeners will follow it as well, because that's how we're gonna survive this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, supporting your immune system is like one of the most important things that you can do at this time, and just being healthy and fit, and sleep is like one of the most important things. That's why I've got this aura ring. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you've heard of them before.
No.
It's just this, it tracks your sleep. So it uh it basically tracks your temperature and your resting heart rate. Um, and it links to your phone with an app. So with this, you can actually see how good a night's sleep you've got. So,
Oh,
things like say for example, if I did like have like a glass of wine or something, uh, this when I go to sleep, my resting heart rate would just shoot up. You know,
oh.
so you can actually see, how doing certain things like maybe having a heavy meal just before bed, or just doing a heavy training routine, say for example just before bed, can just stress you out and it can affect your sleep. So yeah, it's like sleep is so important. So that's why I'm into biohacking and all this sort of stuff.
Nice. I want to look young for a long, long time. I want to stay young for a long, long time. So that's
Yeah,
important as well.
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's basically what fasting is doing. That reduces your, like you have, on the end of your DNA, you've got these telomeres, and they looking at these length of these telomeres, they get shorter and shorter as you age. But you can actually reverse that aging by doing, a healthy diet and fasting, getting good night's sleep, reducing your stress. I mean, even getting in touch with nature is really important. Grounding as well, maybe going out to the forest, and just putting your bare feet on the ground. That's amazing for you, for your body. And I mean, even if it's cold, if it's cold out, just put your hands on a tree or something like that. Do
Oh,
some
no.
grounding. Yeah,
I'm gonna
go
practice
out. Yeah, go out. I mean, it's so good for you, and you're getting in touch with the earth. Us human beings, we're meant to be in touch with the earth. And nowadays we're just shielded from it. We've got our rubber shoes, we're in our houses, so yeah, just get out, find a spot, in a forest somewhere or wherever, and just sit there for a bit, get out, get in touch with nature.
Love it. Thank you very much, David. And just quickly tell us, if somebody wants to contact you, how they can find you.
Oh, right. Probably best to go to my website, northfields.space. That's where they need to go. I've got all my links there to my podcast, that they can contact me there as well. So yeah, definitely just send me an email, or whatever. Send me a chat, and yeah, all
And
my social medias on there as well.
if they want to know more about fasting and keto diets. You have a podcast that you talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've got my podcast. I've also got a YouTube channel as well. So I'm gonna start putting more content on there. On the keto and intermittent fasting. Definitely. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, David, for your time. And thank you for my listeners to be with me. Till next episode. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.